I'm inviting my team up here. So please, Nikki, Felisa, Brittany, they don't know they're coming. Can you please come up here and have a seat? Yeah, can we just give it out to them for all their help? We have not slept. It's been day after day. There's still more after this. So, okay. So what we're actually going to do, I have a couple questions for them, but I'm giving you the floor to ask them whatever you want. What does that say? Okay. So they are allowed to say whatever they want. It's totally fine. No judgment whatsoever. But what I wanted to do is give you the time to ask people who have been on my team, who have gone through a lot of the things, who are in the hot seats right now, all, whatever's going on, and ask them the hard questions that maybe you would ask a team member that you want to know, or whatever that might look like. First question is, why work for Cassidy?
So for me, I've thought about this answer because when I applied, see, first of all, I threw my resume on ZipRecruiter as a last second. Oh, I'm moving to Vegas soon. I'm just gonna, put it out there in the universe. And she immediately reached out and was like, I want to do an interview. And I was like, oh, okay,
What's happening?
And then I get this phone call and I'm like, I don't need a job. My husband makes enough money. I don't need to be doing anything. I was actually looking forward to being a housewife again for a little while, watch some Netflix during the day. It would have been wonderful. I already missed that. So for me, it was during the interview process, her thing, the one thing she wanted me to know is I don't know where we're going, but we are here to show up for women and support them, however that looks. This is a whole new venture because I'm on the agency by design side. This is a whole new adventure. Your job's going to transform as we go. We're going to try a bunch of things, but we're here to show up for the ladies. And I didn't need the money. I told her that. I was like, question, how much are you looking to make? I don't know. I don't need to make anything, to be honest. I just want to go. I just want to go to Target without. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Cassidy is the first boss that I've ever worked for that told me I was slow. And that's not a diss at you. But no, really though, I've always been an overachiever in every position that I've ever had. And I've always been told, oh, you're the best, you're amazing. And I've never been challenged. So I came in her office thinking, I got this. No, she showed me that I am capable of so much more. Really. She's like, no, you can do this, you can do this, you can do whatever you want. I came from daycare. So I came from a very toxic environment. And that doesn't come lightly. I had PTSD when I first started working with them. They were like, Brittany, we're not yelling at you. You're fine. Just get the shit done. And I'm like, okay, you're not yelling at me. Okay, I can do this. But I continue to show up for her because she believes in me. And I'm not going to cry because I'm the baby in the office. No, but she continues to show me that I am wonderful the way that I am. I am capable of a lot. I can do whatever I set my mind to, and I've become my own make it happen captain by working for her. So, yeah. Nikki, it's your turn.
She was the director of Marinello. I was a student. We were running rampant, do whatever the hell we wanted. We didn't have a director. Marinello got shut down. And when Cassidy came in, she was like, nope, y'all need to change this. We're redoing the floors. We're changing out the desks. You need to be here. Your hair needs to be done. Your makeup needs to be done. Stop eating at your desk. Don't bring Red Bull anymore. So I hated her initially. Tried to get her fired. But over time, got to know her a little bit better and realized, okay, I kind of like her. We got a lot of similarities. But what made me realize Cassidy was so different than anybody else is Marinello did a lot of illegal shit and screwed over a lot of students. And despite how much money she was making as a director with them, she was willing to stand up to the entire corporate chain and say, you're not doing this to these kids. This is what they need and this is how it has to go. Ultimately, gave her a decision.
I got fired.
Either you quit or you're fired
Because I stood up.
because she stood up for us. And at that time, it almost didn't even make sense. Why would you give that up? And it was because she actually cared. And from that moment, I realized she was definitely never the person that I thought she was and cared more about people in ways that I've never had a boss care. Fast forward after cosmetology school and I'm doing makeup and she calls me and she's like, I'm opening State Farm, come work for me. But over the years, through State Farm, through everything, through her 96 million business ideas, still here, it doesn't matter who you are. She has literally been there step by step, holding your hand to help you accomplish everything. from me driving my broke down Ford Taurus station wagon through buying the nicer cars to helping me find a way to buy my house, to helping me literally dig deep down inside to realize who I am and what I want. And even more so helping my husband and my kids, that I don't really think there is a going back, because I couldn't work for somebody else or with somebody else that didn't have the drive, the vision, and the heart that she has.
Okay, so thank you. No, that and the point wasn't for that. I already know this in my heart because I know these ladies so much. It was more for you to see and to hear. How can you show up like a leader like that? Or were there things that they said that you hope and pray and maybe wish for people to say about you? Is that something that you resonate? How do you create that culture? How do you show up with what you are specialized in? For me, it's like a skill. It's just a no-brainer that I'm going to challenge you because I challenge myself. So I also am that example, I feel like, where they're an example of so many things that I've learned from them as well. It's who I am to my core. So who are you, and how do you build that culture and that team to complement you and to challenge them to get the things they want in their life, like we were talking about. And I've never felt like they ever look in my direction and say, oh, I'm so jealous or I'm this or that. More, I hope, but I believe that it's more of like, I'm going to do what I need to do so I can do the things that I want to do in my life. And I know she's going to be there to support me. And then you have to show up. You also have to show up and allow them to make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, to look at yourself in the mirror first and say, what could I have done to maybe avoid that? Was I responsible in any of this? And then maybe go see what you can do to support them. And obviously, if someone's going to make mistakes, there's an issue. But that's where I think I changed as a leader, because it wasn't always like that. I was the micromanager, like, we need to make money in this business, and like, you need to make 1,000 calls, and did you then do this, right? So like, that didn't work. And it takes a little bit longer to cultivate those relationships, but when you already know what that looks like before you hire somebody, and I loved Jessica's like job posting and like what that says, because it is not about just saying you need to do these tasks every single day. That comes after. It's about, what's the story? Where are you going? How are you inviting people into a mission and a vision and a story? And when they can connect with that, the making 1,000 calls won't seem so bad because they understand what the purpose is. So let's talk really quick about me being a process psycho and a data tracking psycho, and some of the things that I think Nikki could definitely talk about this. And me and Felisa are still figuring this out, because it is a new venture and like we have no idea what this is going to look like, and it has transformed to a whole nother thing. But talk to me about when we started that 90-day process and all the like getting all these things done. And I would take you to conferences. I would be like, hey, we're going to change this, and now I want you to implement this, or now we got to start tracking this stuff, and now we're moving to Monday, and all of the different things that we've done, about kind of that journey of having those things in place for us, and what you think it's done for the business and for your own work environment and your like day to day, I would say, because those are things that that I'm passionate about. Like, a lot of team members would be like, I don't want to enter this data. This is a waste of time, all the things. Talk to me about how some of those things have changed the way the business runs and the way you think about it, and then the way your day to day is better because of it.
I wish we would have had the processes to start 10 years ago. We would have made a lot more money, worked a lot less. It completely changed the journey, because once we sat down, we defined what each of us wanted to do and what each of us didn't want to do, and the processes that were going to get us there. It streamlined and simplified every single day. It reduced all of the, like, everything that gets you off track, because we were time blocking, we were designated for certain things, we were saying, okay, this is your job. We were able to transfer it out and make sure that everything we were doing were money-making activities or money retention activities. So we literally eliminated the need for 2 more employees and streamlined how much money we can make just by automations. And that alone allowed us to increase ROI and increase sales and spend less time doing the mundane things that nobody wants to do that makes you hate the job, which makes coming to work a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, like, how long did some of that process stuff take? Like,
so it took adjustments to get used to it. It definitely took time, because we also tweaked as we went. So it wasn't the most simple process to get through, and it did take a little bit of time, and it took accountability on each of our parts and reminding each other to stay accountable for it. But now it's just second nature. Like, I was checking our sales a half hour ago from my phone. You could see everything. And that's the best part to me. I love it.
Like
Mine is all over the place. So far, we have gone through 4 different systems on like where we're maybe tracking one thing or another, and we don't necessarily know everything we need to track yet. And I'm on like my 1-year anniversary in 2 days, and I'm just getting the hang of my job. I posted my first reel 3 weeks ago, and I am an online business manager, so I'm supposed to know how to do that. So, yeah, we're kind of, obviously a roller coaster of trial and error right now, but I will say if something's not working, she's like, "No, we're switching. That's not serving our time, that's not serving our purpose. We're done tracking that. We're not looking at that anymore."
I have ADHD, so I get overwhelmed very easily sometimes, and Cassidy's actually helped me out with that a lot. I get stuck, and I'm like, I can't do anything, and I freak out because I'm so overwhelmed. And so many times she has sat down with me and literally sat at my desk, like she was saying earlier, and just said, "Show me what you're doing." And with any other boss, I would have been intimidated, like, "Oh my God, they're gonna judge me. They're gonna get so mad that I'm not doing something right." But she doesn't do that with me. She makes me feel like this is my time to show her exactly what I'm doing so we can nitpick and fix what we need to fix. Like, I would spend so much time writing a note. And it's like, "Brittany, we don't need all that detail." She tells me all the time, "Just keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple." She has just told me all the ways to make things faster, or just take a deep breath. It's okay. We need to just learn how to time manage. We need to learn what's important now. I know you just got 10 clients that just asked you for 10 different things, but what's important right now? Who needs what now? What can wait until tomorrow? What can, you get what I'm saying. But like, that's what she's done for me, at least. And that has helped so much because it just helps me like dial back, and I can be like, "Okay, this is what I need to do today. This is what can be done tomorrow." And I think I was telling you in the car yesterday how excited I was because finally I can tell clients, "Yeah, I'll get that done for you, but you know what? It's going to be about an hour, but I will get it done for you then or sooner." And now clients trust me. They know, "Okay, you're going to get it to me in an hour." Or, "Okay, yeah, I'm going to do it for you tomorrow. I will call you tomorrow between 11 and 1." But she has taught me to like do that, to be more, "Hey, this is what I can do for you. This is when I'll do it for you." And then I just do it.
But I will say, after a couple times of doing that, she no longer comes to me. Like, she started doing her own auditing of her time and own looking at what's happening and refining some of the things because I did it 2-3 times and she learned, and then she took it upon herself, and it just became easier for her, where you don't get overwhelmed anymore like you used to and things like that. So let's talk about the culture because I think this will be interesting. Like, what does it really look like at agency HQ?
I don't know. Apparently, I just chew everybody up and spit them out. So
That's true. Does anybody else have a team member that, like, if they don't like them, they're gone? Where it's like, I'm like, "Guys, if Nikki doesn't like them, she's like a pre-mantis. She's like, you're dead."
don't waste my time. Get out.
Yeah.
It's like a family for us, literally. Every day, we bicker and argue like sisters. And then Morrow, the brother, he's just there for height and to lift things. It's literally, and that's been the biggest thing in finding a team and why don't like people. If you don't fit, it breaks the cycle. It breaks the wheel, and we've got to redesign, restart, find all their mistakes, start over. So we found a way to make that work with us, where we interviewed people ourselves, and then she interviewed, which definitely helped in finding the right people for the team. The pandemic actually may have been the best thing that ever happened because we started to realize we can wear whatever we want to wear, and it doesn't change what we're selling. Actually, our sales increased because we all stopped being uncomfortable in what we're wearing and being so focused on what we look like that we were able to be ourselves and sell ourselves. Because I never understood it. I was going after body shops, truckers, all these things. Why do I gotta wear a blazer? I fucking hate them. I like leggings. I like ripped jeans. I like sneakers. First time I walked into a client's office in heels, I'm like, I'm gonna fall. Too focused on what I'm wearing. I'm gonna trip. I can't talk. And it changed how we presented ourselves with our confidence. And I think as a team over the last 3 years or that whole time frame, we have truly grown in confidence. We've always been good at sales, but our confidence level has changed, which allowed us to really focus on who our ideal client was for each of us individually, because not all of us like to sell the same things. Completely changed everything in the office, and we all come to work happy, comfortable, fed as long as we order lunch by like 10 o'clock. But it's not like going into an office and being like, "Shit, I really don't want to fucking be here."
Yeah, so just give you a visual idea, which I was going to hope that was going to be the kind of answer to, but also We got 2 kids that walk in with these 2. They walk next door because we have a daycare that rents space for most of our commercial buildings. So every morning we have little kids and diaper bags and lunch boxes. We have my dog half the
Morrow
time.
fixed my breast pump when I was trying to pump one day. He brought me duct tape.
We have, breast milk in the fridge, and we throw things at each other. And Nikki has 30,000 cups on her table, and there's toys, and I'm over here doing a live, and like it's just fun. And it wasn't always like that because there was a point where I was rigid, and I was like, "You don't have mascara on," or like, "Why aren't you wearing heels?"
You went to
Because-
hair school. Why isn't your hair done?
we keep talking about like physical parents, but it was more of like we thought we had to be the masculine sales businesswoman to be taken seriously, professional, like, and that's so not true. You can absolutely be who you are as you are, and we're all different. Like, I get dressed up a little bit more, and sometimes I dress down, and I'm like, "Yep, I'm in here in my pajamas." Things like that, where again, it doesn't have to be your culture, but it's about making sure that your team feels comfortable and wants to be there. I mean, we all pretty much would rather be at the office than at home.
Pretty much, absolutely, 110%.
Except Brittany's like a homebody, but still, she likes her kids. It's a whole thing. So, okay, we'll open up for questions so that we have time. But I wanted to give you guys like a baseline so you can ask questions. Yeah, I can just real quick say it wasn't always this way. It was like everyone has to be here 15 minutes before their shift. Like, I was crazy about it. And it evolved for sure. Right now, as far as agency goes, phones have to be covered. I don't care where they're covered, and I don't care who covers them. So I've given the freedom to my team to work with each other within the agency to figure it out. Just kind of like I said, Brittany, you want to do a 4-day work week, get everyone on board and let's figure out who covers phones what, like, and get me the results and you can have what you want. That's pretty much the only thing is just like phones have to be covered. We do not open to the public. We do by appointment only. That started some other things, but that's the only schedule that I require. But it wasn't always like that. It was hard to let go because again, I was like, it has to be. Then again, I came from State Farm, which is much more corporate based, but that's it right there. And then they can tell you about other stuff, motherhood wise.
So yeah, definitely one thing that she said earlier is I don't pay you for like sitting at your desk for hours. I pay you for results. So me right now, I literally have a 4-month-old. She goes to the office sometimes. Sometimes she stays home. Sometimes I work 2 hours a day. Sometimes I can work 8 hours a day. It is all up to me to get whatever she needs done to get it done. So that flexibility, having this newborn who some days has a great day and sleeps all day and I get everything done. And sometimes like I literally cannot get her out of my lap. It's so helpful. So as long as you know that someone is like, and she's told me because I, as a mom, feel the guilt. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm getting enough done. Like I only worked 2 hours today. I don't know if I did everything I needed to do. I've got so much I need to do for the rest of the week. As long as, and that's another thing is her, do your top 3, like per day, per week, per month. Just make sure you're getting those results. It is invaluable as a mom who wants, like, she gave me the option. If you want to put your newborn in daycare, okay, I get it. She's like, but also, like, up to the first year, I mean, she's welcome here. I want the office baby. Where's Roan? Why are you even here today? There's no baby. Go home. It's just been so helpful. So when you're like out there searching for a new mom, obviously like the first thing we want to hear is that there's flexibility. Like, okay, so maybe in the beginning, and this is another thing she did is like, okay, so when Roan's here, maybe in the beginning we just kind of like test it out, you know, a couple hours a day, see where we are, see how you're feeling, you know, audit your schedule, see what, you know, takes you how long, what the hours are that you can work, how are you feeling, can you take on more tasks? You just have to have that open mindset if you're willing to. Because if you're going to be the person that's like, show up 9 to 5 as a mom, yeah, as a mom, I'd be like, I think I'm going to quit. There have been times already where I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, she's going to fire me in the first month I'm back. Easy. No, I'm still here somehow. Every single day I've got imposter syndrome and I'm like, I'm not doing enough for her. And one of these days she's going to realize it. And I'm going to be out of here. Still here. I don't know how.
Hold on. Let's just give this. Felisa wrote Post-it notes of what I was going to say while I was presenting and put it on the papers and like numbered them. And I was like, this is why I love you. Make you keep me sane. I can't. So that is not true. But yes, it happens to all of us. I understand. She just wanted to say one thing about the mom thing and then you guys can, yeah.
So I work in the agency that, that she has with Nikki and Morrow. I'm in charge of answering the phones, so my flexibility is a little bit different than Felisa's might be. So one thing that I do love is, yes, she is flexible, and she has other team members who are flexible. So like if I need to go and do something, I'll call Nikki or I'll call Mara and be like, hey, I just need to go to this appointment, and it's not often, but when it's necessary, the two of them have my back. They'll answer the phones for that hour or two. That way the phones are still covered, but the three of us, we coordinate together. Hey, I need to go do this, or hey, I need to get off early, or hey, I have something going on. We know that we can rely on each other, that the phones are still being answered, service requests are still getting done, and the three of us just work together. And that's really important too, because even Maro is a dad. Like, we're all parents, we all have kids, we all have emergencies. So if my kid needs to be picked up from school because she peed herself, I know I can call Nikki and be like, hey, I'll be right back in like 45 minutes. I gotta go pick up Aaliyah. Oh my God, I don't know why she's doing this, but I'll be back. And they're like, yeah, okay, it's fine. Just go. You're fine. We got the phones. Don't worry about it. So that's the culture that Cassidy has given us. If you need to get something done, go and get it done. As long as you're getting me my results, I don't care. Just make it happen.
But it's the culture. It's like we are all here for a specific purpose, and when they've proven they can handle it. So sometimes I walk in, I'm like, "Where's this person? Where's that person?" And not even to like question it. And they're just like, "Oh, they've got this thing done." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Like I don't even need to know, but that's because they've proven to me that they can do it. And then anyone else that gets added on has to be okay and be part of that culture. Like otherwise, it's not going to work. Them to have a place to go, to step away. I think you like that flexibility, so I would say I would keep going with that and use that as a powerful thing like Jessica does, where I'm the type of person I prefer to not necessarily have somebody who's in office every day, but somebody local that I can, or at least comes in every now and then so we can just like, because I want that relationship. But you can create that with trips. You can have them come out, do different things, team building stuff, but that doesn't mean anything. I think that if you're looking for someone, you want to add that extra benefit that they can be remote, and or I can add a benefit to give you like a membership to like a co-working space or something so you have somewhere to go. I think it's like a benefit, but like what's the actual vision you have and where do you want to go with it? And then those are the people that you want to attract that are going to kind of fit in there, because this is about you leading it as opposed to trying to fit a circle in a square box kind of thing. And here's the thing though, if it's working, then why change it?
Me.
Yeah, Brittany's an example. So yeah, let her
Yeah.
tell you what happened and it'll give you.
So when I first started working for Cassidy, it was November of 2019. I've maybe spent 20% of my time in your office, I think, because as soon as COVID hit, I went home. We all went home. Office shut down, everybody was at home. So I was able to get to know them better because I'm still a remote worker. I moved to California, and I thought, we actually went to lunch, and I was like, please don't fire me. I love you so much, but I want to move to California, but if you tell me no, I'll stay. And she's like, Brittany, if you want to go to California with your family, go. Like, you still have a job with me. And
I
that,
said,
like,
can you do your job?
yeah, can you do your job from home? And I'm like, well, yeah, I did it during COVID when I was freaking homeschooling my kids and like answering phones and freaking out and pulling my hair. But I don't need the office. I don't need to show up and be there in order to bond with Nikki or bond with Felisa or have a relationship with Cassidy. I don't, because we do other things together. If there's a team event, Cassidy invites me. I'll drive. I'll come here. I'll drive. She actually helps me sometimes. She pays for my hotels so I can come and be here with them. If it's in a team event, or if we're going to Texas, or if we're going to Tennessee, she includes me. So I feel included even not having to see them every single day. And it's been 3 years now, and I still feel like I have a relationship with them. And, I don't think you need an office to have that culture.
I think you need to remember like two things. Number one, it's your business. Where do you want it to go? You're in charge. Number two, you're creating this new position. What are your expectations? What do you want from them? And really, you're just trying to figure out like, how am I going to train them? That's literally the question you're trying to answer.
Great. Last question.
So, when two people like the same thing, you know how you guys were kind of figuring out who likes what in the process. What if like two people decide, this is my strong suit and I like this and I do too, but I want to do that. Like how did you guys settle that? Like or was there even that situation? Because I feel like I could have that struggle in my office and I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate
So
it.
for Daniela, like you have people that like service where you almost don't
Yeah.
need that much service.
Right.
Which one's better? Get rid of the other one. Like that's just it. You don't need it. If it's a sales position, like why not scale? If they're making enough money to cover their seat, there's no reason to even question that. Both of you go sell. Sometimes it might be some competitive stuff. Like we've had that before where this was a while ago, not now, but it was like you're talking to my referral partner or you're this or that. Like I nip that shit in the butt real quick when it came to like competitiveness or feeling like, you know, somebody stepping on toes, or if you answered the call and they quoted them and you closed them, like who gets the commission, like all that stuff. Has anybody dealt with that stuff in the office before, right? That's part of building a culture and having boundaries and processes of like what needs to happen in those moments. And you don't always know until they happen. And then you say, hey, how do we prevent this from happening again? What do you feel comfortable with? But for the service, if you don't have the capacity for it, stop spending money on it. Now, the people that you have, is there one that's like really great with this stuff in service and one that's really great with this stuff in service? Or are they both battling for the same things?
Right now, I probably need the both to do my servicing, but I also need to hire a producer. I just can't afford a producer. But unless they pay their own salaries.
We've had team members that were doing servicing and the same type of stuff. And I think the thing that helped us is there was a hard line of who does what. And then if you had to jump in a seat because somebody was out or something was happening, like you still know how to do your job. We went through points, and again, this isn't right or wrong. We went through points where everybody does everything. You service and sell, whatever you pick up the phone, you do. We had points where we were specialized, where some people only do life, some people only do this, right? Like here's a specialist person. Oh, we've tried a lot of things. We had it where it was completely split, service and sales. Now we have it where all commercial service are the person that sold it. If they are not there, the other person will take over. But Brittany's learning a lot more about commercial, so she's trying to take more things off her plate. Her job is to retain at a certain level of clients and then keep them free as much as possible so they can sell. That's her purpose of what her position is. Her purpose, well, Nikki is just, everybody needs a Nikki in their life. Her job is to keep my business running and keep me sane. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like we've talked about this before, but like there are things that no matter what you do, like no matter how much I'm really stuck on a process, there are just things that some people just won't get done. It's going to drive you insane. There are things that are just not worth the battle, and you can't accept if they're not that important. They really won't be that important. The important stuff will keep that person there, or if they can't do the important stuff, it'll get them out. But I would say definitely draw the line, and then still I would question audit all day long. What are you doing? How long is it taking you? What's the thing? Can one person do it? And if one person can do it and you just have two people that are maybe not able to be at the capacity, this is something you can think about maybe long term, because I know you're not ready yet, but you could possibly have one person do those things and you're still paying for two people.
Being hired as an online business manager, hate social media. Like I really do. So I'm not kidding. I learned how to post a reel 3 weeks ago. Sometimes she's been challenging me to do that literally probably from like day one. Like just open up Instagram and the reels are so easy. And I was like, no, it's so easy. It's embarrassing. And now I'm over here like, yeah, choosing songs. So like sometimes just pushing, just push. Well, even someone like me who resisted for literally almost 12 months, like mindset shift.
I think too, just looking again at the processes that you've created, even if you don't have them completely all written out and ironed out, there's processes in your business, and taking a look at, is there a kink? Are they clogging things? Because again, maybe the two people who are trying to do the things they think they need to be doing in the processes are doing too many things that aren't actually needed. And it takes time. It's not overnight, and you're so much better off than where you were. Like, I just know you. I know, right? Like, and it's still a process, and it never ends. But yeah, absolutely, for sure. Last thing I'm just going to say is that Brittany came to me learning that she loved marketing so much, and she was like, I'd really like to go full time. And I was like, well, that's not going to happen right now. However, if you want that to happen, here are the results that you need to be bringing through the marketing efforts that you're doing every single month so that we can cover a marketing position, and then we would free up funds to pay for a service person to bring that on. And this is kind of what it looked like. So she's been working really hard and getting to a point where we're getting 60 referrals a month and closing 50% of that business and generating the premium that she's actually selling now. I think she sold like 20,000.
I'm working on 2 commercial policies now.
But, like things evolve, things change in your business and with your team, and figuring out what do you like to do? What do you not like to do? What is your zone of genius? What is not? And it's a flow, and it changes and it happens. And if Brittany gets to a point where she moves into full-time marketing, like we got to start over with service person, which we're all like, oh, fuck. But you know what I mean? Like things ebb and flow.
Okay, so we were there. We were there 100%, and we needed another person. And every god-awful person we hired, they were horrible. And finally, we were like, fuck it, we're done. I said, hey, I have this friend I worked with for X amount of years. It motivated me to find somebody that I knew I could tolerate. You don't need to worry about it if you're not in the office as much. I needed somebody who I could tolerate, that I could trust, that I could say, you need to get this shit done. and that was it. And that's where it started. Go down to one, call it a day, save the money.
You might actually realize you can do a lot more with just the two of you. You're happier. Like, it's not as bad as you're catastrophizing it. Like, and it would take me probably about a month to get back in the groove, but it would all come back to me, and I pick things up really quickly. I've thought about it, like what would happen. You're saving the money. You can start over. You can start fresh. I will say, if you have the choice, like the option, like they don't just walk out on you or something, but if you have the option to come up with some type of plan, it may not be perfect, so that do the task, you can figure out what the steps are going to look like to get these people out, and then how you and your Nikki are going to figure it out, and then start taking action. Obviously, that's better than to just have it happen and the rug pulled under you. But you'll be surprised about what you guys can actually handle and how much more money you're making and how much it's a better environment. So the toxic people just have to go. Just rip the Band-Aid off. I promise you, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. It's so much worse to deal with this person. If you ever have to describe somebody like that, they no longer need to be there. The reason I take people to Starbucks to get rid of them is so that they don't leave the toxicity in the office as they're leaving. And I try to give them some grace. I mean, no one's ever cried at Starbucks. That would be horrible. I mean, it could happen. But it's to also not embarrass them that they're getting fired in front of somebody else, and it's just like one-to-one conversation. But the toxicity is not, it's cancerous. It spreads. It's never going to get better. It's not. No matter, you bring in more people, they're not going to work well. It's just not going to work. All right, ladies, can we give it up to these amazing women?